Even in the pool water and the sweltering heat, her lips remained a vibrant red. I knew it was creepy to watch my neighbor swimming, but I just didn't know how to talk to her. She climbed up on the side of the pool for a rest, singing something sweet but muffled as she combed her fingers through her hair. I didn't even know if she was into girls or not. With a creak, I pushed the window open a little to hear her singing. I couldn't quite make out all the words. Her eyes caught mine, and I leapt back from the window. She must have seen me. My heart pounded painfully in my chest. In a moment of bravery, or maybe just panic, I decided that talking to her was the only way to redeem myself. One pep talk later, I found myself hiding behind the fence and trying to think of something to say. Finally, I decided that I would ask her about her waterproof makeup. Or maybe not, that might sound weird. Frustrated, I decided to just pop my head up over the fence and say the first thing that came to mind, which I did, maybe a little louder than necessary. Hey, I like the day out! What I meant to say was either I like your makeup or beautiful day out. However, my indecision led to this mess. I was ready to run back inside and never come out again, but then she laughed. It sounded like music. I like the day out, too, she said. I could feel the blood rush to my ears. She must have noticed I was blushing. Do you want to come hang out in the pool? Not wanting to say something embarrassing, I nodded energetically, which was probably a lot worse. Then I dashed inside to get my swimsuit. When I walked around to her yard, she showed me to a lawn chair. Don't go in the pool yet. I'll get us some drinks, she said, and went back into the house. The sun was fierce, and I realized I wasn't wearing sunscreen. 10 minutes passed, and I began to sweat profusely. Surely she wouldn't mind if I just dipped my toes in. I sat down at the side of the pool and carefully dipped one leg in. It was cold, more so than swimming pools generally are. But considering the weather, this was a welcome anomaly. Without thinking, I slid into the pool entirely. The water was extremely cold, and a shiver ran down my spine. It smelled strange, too, like salt. I kicked my legs to stay afloat while I rubbed some warmth into my cold arms. Something touched my foot. Something like seaweed. I tore my leg away, though it got entangled in the stuff. I gave it another and more violent tug and finally tore it free. Flailing about in a panic, I pulled myself up onto the tiled poolside. Shivering with both cold and fear, I pulled the strange tendrils off my leg. They were dark and stringy. With a jolt, I realized what it was. Human hair. I looked into the pool. Nothing was there. With disgust, I peeled the slimy strands off my skin and tossed them into the grass. Then she returned with 2 glasses of lemonade. I thought I told you not to go in the pool. Her voice had a beautiful sing-song quality, even when she was mad. Her demeanor softened. She set down the lemonade on the table. It's okay if you want to go into the pool now. We can go into the pool. She began climbing into the water. I didn't want to go into the pool anymore, but I also didn't want to be rude. The water was just as cold as ever. She led me to the middle where it was the deepest. I was never great at swimming, and as I struggled to stay afloat, the water surged into my nose and mouth. It tasted salty, like ocean water. Let's try to swim down and touch the bottom, she suggested. I didn't like the idea, but I went along with it anyway. I swam down, my lungs burning. Something bumped into me. Despite the stinging, I opened my eyes. A pair of cold, dead eyes stared back at me. I yelped, letting my breath escape in a rush of bubbles. I kept my eyes open as I tore through the water. The water seemed infinite, definitely beyond the proportions of the swimming pool. All around me, dead bodies were suspended and upright under the surface. Some had pieces missing as though something had been eating them. Something wrapped around my leg, and it definitely wasn't hair this time. I looked down and saw her, unnaturally red lips pulled back in a mocking smile, revealing a row of sharp teeth not unlike those of an anglerfish. I struggled weakly. My vision became blotchy and blurred. I could see the surface above me. Human forms bobbed up and down, dark and shapeless as in the infinite water. In one last effort, I kicked as hard as my oxygen-starved muscles would allow. For a moment, her grip slackened, and I swam frantically. When I finally broke through the surface, the atmosphere was strangely calm. I heard the hum of lawnmowers in the distance as I desperately sucked air back into my lungs. My arms were shaking as I pulled myself out of the pool. I looked back into the water. Nothing was there. Now, as I'm sitting here writing this, I can still hear her singing her siren song.
Just for a short